Welcome everybody. This is another video on system dynamics. The topic is Vensim, how to run the model, how to view data. Here we have a previous model that we have built in Vensim, and we mentioned that there are two ways to run this. The first one is to run simulate, and this will run it once, and it's save and it's static. But there is another way to run it, and it's we can run it in a continuous way. That this is running in the background, continuously updating, and if we change the parameters, say for instance the goal, we can see the goal being effectively changing the behavior of the system. Right now the goal is at 700, and we arrived to the 700 after about 9 units of time, 9 months. And that's one way to do it. Notice that it's running, and here I can stop it at the top center of the screen. I can run it again. It keeps running in the background, and I can save this particular run and give it a name. This will be my first run for this particular model, and I can ask if I make any changes. So I change this to 575. Now that is going to be saved in a second. Data set. So as you can see, well, I made a typo, and I recorded the first one a second as opposed to second. Maybe I can delete that. So in order to delete that, we can browse and see what we have. Right now I'm storing these runs in Vensim. We can do that later on. When we stop running, there you go. So maybe I don't want to have this second because it was a mistake. And I can delete that one. In the control panel, you go to data sets, and the one that I want to delete, bring it to the available information and delete it. And there you go. Now we have only the second and the first run, and now we can compare that data. We can also specify the causes tree. Say for instance I want to understand how what is affecting the gap. So I have this button here, and I can see that the gap is being affected by, on one side, the goal, and on the other side, level, which is in turn affected prior by the flow. I can also use tree to see which are the effects of this particular variable on the model. And the tree tells me that the gap affects the flow, which in turn affects level 1. I can identify loops. In this particular loop, level affects gap, and then affects floor, and then it's going back to level. So this is very useful to identify what are the processes that we have. We can document the formula for this particular node. In this particular case, I'm at the level 1, and this is the formula how it's affected. But I can also document the whole model, all the formulas in the model. As you can see, this could be very useful to double check our formulas and make sure that they're working fine. We have other reports that we can run for the most important material flows or material variables, which are the level and the flow, and we have both runs, and we can unselect this, and only one will appear, but very useful way to see the data and compare the outcomes. You can also generate a table of what happened during the run, and the first row is the time. Then you have first this run that it's called second in blue, and the one that it's called first run in red. Okay. We have graphs for one of each one, and we can in turn turn into tables and more tables. In this particular case, it's printed out by the time. So very powerful stuff. We can compare runs and see what we did. And in the first run, we arrived to 400. In the second, we arrived to 575, or because that was the goal that we had, and that's why a different input we got different results. 575 and 400. Okay. You can also specify using the comment. You can specify if it's a loop, that it's a positive or negative or reinforcing loop. Reinforcing loop, and there you go. That's a reinforcing loop. And that's pretty much it. I think with this information you can run models that are useful and sophisticated. You can also document your outcome. I hope you find it useful. Talk to you in the next video.